The reason I'm here today is very simple. It's because of Tina. And it has three reasons why that is true. The first reason is that she founded this organization here called CreativeMornings. The reason why these events happen and why Daniel is organizing these events, and they invited me to come, that's one of the reasons I'm here. Another one is that Tina also helped found an organization called USO, the Union der Schweizer Schülerorganisationen, which is a national body of student politics here in Switzerland. And for me, that was the first start into entrepreneurship. It was the moment during high school when I realized that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. And that was also thanks to Tina. And lastly, I'm also here a little bit today because Tina has been an enormous supporter for us at Holstee in New York City. She's been on our advisory board since we started, and we wouldn't be here where we are today without her help. So the reason I'm here today is clearly because of Tina. Now, a quick word about myself. I'm an entrepreneur. I live in New York City, and I want to tell you a little bit about Holstee today. And Holstee is my new startup where the name comes from our first product. We started out making T-shirts with holster position pocket on. So if you take holster and T-shirt, you get Holstee. And when we started out, we wanted to revolutionize how you make T-shirts. And we were totally convinced that making pockets on T-shirts was a revolution. And the first shirts were made with the grandmother of my two co-founders. You see her here. I think she's over 85, and she made our whole production of first shirts. And they sold really well. And by now we are a whole lifestyle brand of products that are made what we call designed with a conscience. Each single product that we do and offer has a positive impact, has a special story, and I want to walk you a little bit through it, what this lifestyle is that we talk here about. Daniel mentioned our manifesto, and the story behind the manifesto is the following, that when we started out with this company, we sat down in Union Square on a sunny day in New York City, and we wanted to write down what does it mean for us to be successful. What will success look like in non-monetary terms? We only wrote it for ourselves. We had it on our webpage for over a year, and I think no one ever looked at it. And then suddenly, last November, December, things started to change. Suddenly, people started to blog about it, started to tweet about it, started to share it on Facebook. And it has been incredible, the amount of feedback that we've received in the meantime. We estimate over 50 million views of the manifesto online. It has really become one of the biggest drivers of our brand online. Our values and our definition of success, for some reason, people seem to really resonate with that. And the question, I guess, is why? And the answer is we have no idea. I think it has a little bit to do with that there is a strong sense for values in society at the moment. This is from the Financial Times yesterday. I just took a photo of it, where it says, consumers stick with principle over price. And the first sentence out of the article says, sales of ethical goods continued to rise last year in spite of the downturn as consumers refused to sacrifice principle for price or convenience. It means people really love stuff that is made with certain principle and values, even in times when money is really tight. And I think that's part of what we see with our brand as well, that our brands have become such a strong communicator and differentiator for us. And we also see a little bit that there's a very strong dissatisfaction with the status quo, especially in the US right now with how society is built. Many of you have seen what is going on with Occupy Wall Street, and to some extent, people, I guess, are looking more and more for values as a counterpoint to that. And I think for us, one of the key learnings when we started out was that we always thought that a startup is about building value. You have to create something that is valuable for the customer. You have to create something that they want to buy. But we realized down the road, it is really about creating values. It's really about creating something that you can stand for and that people can reflect upon and can connect with. I want to show a little bit how we do that at Holstee. And let me first start with how we make stuff. Everything we produce at Holstee has to be based on this three simple, kind of a concept with three pillars. People, planet, product. Whenever we make something, the people in the process have to be treated well. Everyone. Second of all, the planet has to be treated in a sustainable way. And third of all, we don't want to compromise anything on the product. The product has to convince by design, good use, and has to be beautiful. No matter how it's done, where it's done, how sustainable it is, no one's going to buy it just because it's done in a sustainable way. For us, that's a key principle. And another aspect of this is, does it really need this product? Does it really need another X, Y, and Z? Let me give you an example. I have here one of our wallets. This wallet is made out of trash bags from the streets of India. We work with an NGO that hires some of the poorest women to go and pick up trash on the streets of Delhi. For you who've been in India will probably remember there's plastic bags everywhere in India on the streets. And that NGO hires women that otherwise would not get a job or would be paid very minimal wages. And they give them access to healthcare, give them access to education, and they make stuff out of those plastic bags. So this wallet is made for about 99% out of plastic bags from the streets of India. We like the product because it has a sustainable impact. It takes trash off the streets. It's an upcycled product, as we call it. It helps people on the ground and that are involved in the process of making it. But in the end of the day, when we ask people, why do you like our wallet? People say, because it looks cool. And I think that's the kind of products we really want to make. There's an interesting paradox involved in this, that if you make stuff, you're creating more waste. And when you're saying you're trying to be sustainable and trying to have strong values in producing things, how can you promote making more stuff? I want to show you how we deal with this paradox. On the one hand, we really try to discourage people from buying stuff. This is our checkout page. And you see here on the last line where we say, reduce where possible. If you don't need something, don't buy it. We very strongly believe in this. We don't want anyone to buy anything on our site if they don't really need it. We say, otherwise, it's just going to create more waste. We also built our business model with having people who are not maybe the consumer in mind. 15% of, no, excuse me, wrong number. 10% of our total gross revenue is given as loans to entrepreneurs in the developing world. You might have heard of the concept of microloans. And so 10% of our total revenue is given as microloans to entrepreneurs who are starting something in Nicaragua or in Peru or in India. And we found that as a business, it's a great way of supporting other causes, and that money comes back. We also share 5% of our total revenue with all our employees. And it's just 5% split in same ratio with everyone in the whole team. So we want to make sure that if you create something, we can share it with all the people who are involved in it. This is a recent advertisement from Patagonia in the New York Times. And I think one we've been very much inspired by, that they had a full-page advertisement where they encouraged people not to buy another jacket, but really think of, do you need this jacket? Are there maybe other ways, instead of buying a new jacket, maybe buy, a recycled jacket or buy someone else's jacket. And I want to show you one of the campaigns we recently did on Americans celebrate Thanksgiving in November, and the day after Thanksgiving is called Black Friday. It's this day where people get up at 5 a.m. in the morning to go and get crazy discounts in big supermarkets. It's this crazy day of consumption. People go crazy and they spend a lot, and you see big spikes in sales that day. What we did is we shut down our website that day. It's the biggest day of sales probably. And we put a black curtain over our site, and we're like, you know, Thanksgiving is this beautiful holiday where everyone is actually with their families. Spend time with your family instead of going shopping. And I think it's fair to say that we use our values as one of the key messages of our marketing. Our values have become our marketing. This is part of a campaign that is called Agent 99. We hired an amazingly talented young college student over the summer for a position that is called Agent 99, and based on the following principle. At Holstee, we love risks. We love taking risks. And every time, every Monday morning, we meet for a check-in into the week. We take a risk of the week. For us, even starting Holstee was a huge risk. And so we built the whole job just around risks. It's 99 risks in 99 days. That became his job. And all the risks were involved in spreading the message of Holstee and kind of bringing out those values. This here, for example, is one of the risks was to put parts of the manifesto down on subway lines in New York City. One of the risks was to put our poster up in public libraries all over New York City. Or one of them was to bring us onto national TV, which the young guy on the right hand with the beautiful bow tie, that's our Agent 99, who brought us onto national TV. And one way we live our values is how we work with our team. Our team is not called the team, it's called the family, and for a reason. We really strongly believe in that, that we can do something special with the people we work with. And the way we live our values, for example, is that for us, it's not just about work, it's about really enjoying what we're doing. And I want to share a few stories that how we execute on that. We all went out to a big festival in the US called Burning Man, which is this art, music, crazy festival in the desert of Nevada. And we all went there, and we shut down Holstee for a week. And we communicated this to our community. We put it on our blog, we put it on our website, and we were very nervous what would happen. But the response was very, very positive. And we said, look, we won't be responding for a week, and it's going to be very slow, and we don't know what's going to happen if something goes wrong while we're gone, but we're literally in the desert of Nevada. We don't have any internet. We don't have cell phone reception. And it's pretty much suicide for a young startup. And the reaction could have not been more positive, because people realize that, you know, at some point you need a break. At some point you want to just have fun as a team and go and deconnect. And that's what we did. And I think really standing for those values and living them has really worked well. Another thing I want to share with you is the way we recruit people. We realized over time that people make themselves fit to job description rather than really apply what they're passionate about. So when you're applying at Holstee now, and if you go to our website, you see that we don't advertise for jobs. Even though we're recruiting people all the time right now, we let people to define what their dream job is. And when there is a match between what people are applying for and what job they created for themselves and what we need, we're going to talk to them. And we just realized that that allows us to hire really, really passionate people who just want to do what they're exactly doing right now. And that has helped us to, like, you know, find people that we otherwise would never have found. We would never have thought of their job profiles, but we just realized when they're applying that they were so passionate and that they were really what we needed in our team at that point. Yeah, and maybe to close, I think the manifesto has for us been a great inspiration to kind of do things a little bit differently. One of the great ways how we live our lifestyle is, I guess, that we cook every day at lunch at the office. Someone from the team cooks for the whole team lunch every single day. And we work down at the water in Brooklyn, and so we go out and kind of have lunch together. For us, this has become one of the key aspects of our culture. And I think a second one is that we're all big bicycle fans. We love doing everything by bicycle in New York City. And we made a video summarizing kind of what biking means to us, what New York City means to us through the language of the Holstee Manifesto. And I'd love to share this to close. That's a big question. Being single, end of 20s, there's no better city than New York City, I would say. That's maybe one answer. Another answer is that I think it's incredible as a young entrepreneur, the potential and the dynamics of what you can do living in a city like New York City at the moment. The speed at which we can do things there is really amazing. The access to talent is really amazing. And the cost of living is, I mean, even though people have different ideas of that New York is very expensive, but you can actually really live very cheaply in New York City and build a startup for very little money. I don't know if that answers your question, but overall, I think for me right now, building startups, New York is just an amazing place to be. And coming from Switzerland, I felt that Switzerland is a beautiful place to come back to. It's a beautiful place to come and visit, but has a different kind of pace than New York City.
Ich wollte eben sagen, es ist fast wie Zürich, New York, oder?
Ich genieße es sehr, wenn ich hier bin. Aber also ich glaube, auf unternehmerischer Sicht sind die Möglichkeiten sind wirklich sind anders in New York. Also, obwohl wir ein Startup in den USA haben, vertrete ich die USA klimapolitisch nicht, aber also es ist eine Katastrophe. Ich meine, das sieht man in Amerika natürlich, auf politischer Ebene sieht man es vielleicht am stärksten, aber also es gibt kaum Recycling in New York City, es gibt in vielen, ich weiß nicht, ob ich das auf Kamera sagen kann, in vielen Hinsichten ist die USA wie ein Drittweltland. Wenn es um Sachen von Nachhaltigkeit, Recycling, Klimaschutz, ja, es ist wirklich sehr, sehr weit hinten rein. What were some of the tough things that we faced? Well, we screwed up all the time. I think that's one of the tough things. We made a lot of products that no one wanted. We've produced products at the beginning for way too expensive money because we didn't know how to produce. I mean, the list is very, very long. In retrospect, it doesn't really matter that much. I think for us, the most in retrospect, it was just the most important thing that we started it and kept going. I think most people ask us if money was the biggest battle, that we didn't have access to like lots of capital or so, and it was never any issue. I think kind of just there's great ways of bootstrapping. I'm a huge fan of finding creative ways of bootstrapping your company, and I think way too many entrepreneurs don't start a company because they think they need a lot of cash to do it. And that wasn't the case in our situation. Incubation programs, I don't know if everyone's familiar with them. It's like a summer camp for entrepreneurs. You go there with an idea, and they help you over like 6 or 8 weeks to really get much further with your projects by exposing you to mentors and giving you feedback and helping you to raise money. I'm a big fan of them. We've never been part of an incubator ourselves because we're a little bit in this kind of very strange niche between a technology product, between an e-commerce startup, between a fashion startup. But we're a little bit of everything, and incubators tend to be very focused on one niche. Having said that, I think it's a great way of getting started. If you get into the Y Combinators or Techstars of this world, I think, and if it's your first or second startup, I think it's a great idea.
Or in Zurich, you go to ZKB, they do also entrepreneur coaching.
No, but I think it's true, and I think those things are really good. I think it's there's programs like this. The ETH has programs here. The EFJ, yeah, has really good programs here. It's Venture Lab, exactly. It's by far not that you need to go to an American program to do that. There's a Seed Camp in the UK. There's lots of programs here that I would definitely recommend. Yes, we do. In terms of full disclosure, Monique's husband just made an investment into us, and we just finished a small investment round ourselves. We were totally bootstrapped for the last 2.5 years, but for us it was extremely important to select investors that we would know that would align with our values, because it's always very easy to have values when things are going well. No one doubts that you can do your business and take decisions according to your values when things are going well in the bottom line. The big question is going to come when it's not going well. And I think we wanted to pick investors that we felt comfortable with, that would go with us through times when maybe things aren't going that well. And maybe we don't have the numbers to back them up, but we still want to take decisions not to produce somewhere cheaply in China, but maybe do something more expensive and produce locally in Queens in New York. I think that's a very fair point and something we're very conscious of. I can give you one example that how we're really trying to be conscious about that is we never actually wanted to print a poster of our manifesto because we felt we were selling out on our own values. And just after we've received like 10 emails a day, people asking about it, we started printing a poster, and has become one of the best-selling products now. But we've been very just putting our manifesto onto things and making products out of it. We're getting a lot of emails right now for people asking us to make T-shirts with the manifesto on it, and I don't think we're going to do it because we feel, yeah, we don't want to sell out. And I think to some extent, the way we try to look at it is that when Nike makes a new product or any big brand, they make a product first and then build a brand around it. They make a shoe and then say, this is not just a shoe, this is all those values and this lifestyle around this. In our case, it almost happened the other way around. You know, we made first our lifestyle, and now we're kind of filling it up with products. We, however, don't want to be a manifesto product company, which is definitely one of the challenges that we face because people resonate so strongly with the values that they want it in the form of products. But we're trying to kind of find creative ways around that. I mean, there are two answers to that. On the one hand, I think I don't really know where this is going, and I think we just did it by total coincidence. I can't say that we planned this, it just happened this way. And the second thing is that I believe, I have a gut feeling that consumer behavior and retail behavior is going in two extremes. One is that people are just going to go to Amazon and the Walmarts of this world if they know exactly what they want. It's going to be price, it's going to be convenience, it's going to be accessibility and choice. On the other hand, people want to be inspired and want to buy something that they don't know exactly what they want. And I think then they're going to tend towards brands with strong values. Because they're looking for something that they can connect with, that they can relate to, and that they can just, I don't know, get a smile and can get inspired by. I don't know if that answers your question, but we're trying to be one of the second brands. So the applications we actually do get seem pretty reflected. But I'm sure there's a bias in those applications because there must be a lot of people who just never end up applying. I'm sure we lose out on a lot of people who just think, I don't know if I should apply or if I don't know how to formulate this. But the people that do, we find that they actually seem to have quite a strong sense of what they're doing. And the reasons we came up with is that I've been recruiting quite a few people over the summer to work with us. And I have this question that I use in job interviews at the end where I'm saying, like, it looks like you're not getting the job, but we're going to continue hiring. What else would you do? Like, if you could pick another job at Holstee, what else would you do? And suddenly, like, totally different answers came out of people. And while Daniel was maybe applying for a job in operations, and asking that, suddenly he was saying, like, actually he wants to do marketing. And I think we just want to jump that step and kind of get to that last question right away. And until now, those questions have been meaningful. There has mostly not been a match with our needs, because we then also have quite practical needs where we just need a front-end developer, and a front-end developer is a front-end developer. 95% of our revenue comes from our webpage. We sell online. We like it for two reasons. First of all, we can we have the full interaction with the customer. We know who the customer is, and we can, you know, from every single word that is written on our website to the confirmation email to the follow-up email, whatnot, we can really like design that whole experience. That is the longer we're in this business, the more we realize how valuable that is. Second of all, we're in the retail business, which means it's all about margins. And being an online selling through our own platform means we have double the margins we would have if we would go and sell to a wholesaler. And that allows us to be much more flexible who we work with. We probably could not afford, we just made a round of t-shirts that are made out of organic cotton and hemp. And they're made locally in LA and with a sustainable manufacturer. We probably could not afford doing that if we had to go wholesale with it, because we have higher margins, we could do things like that. Down the line, it's going to be a question for us if we should go wholesale to scale up our numbers. However, we really like to be online, and we really like that interaction.